Welcome to the New Author Podcast, a weekly podcast diary starring Jerry Evanoff and Rich Kacy. Join them weekly as they talk about writing, publishing, and marketing their books. And now, here are your hosts.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the New Author Podcast. Today is, Wednesday, March 11th, 2026. This is episode number 347. I am one of the hosts of this podcast, Jerry Evanoff. And with me, as he is each week, is Rich Kacy. Rich, I don't know if you can hear it, but my neighbor has the loudest truck in the history of man. And just as the intro was starting, he decided to start it up. And when he starts it up, he doesn't start it up like a regular person. You just turn it on. He starts up and then presses down on the gas.
Yeah.
I guess he's got to prove that he's a man. I don't know. It's weird.
Actually, I didn't hear that, but what I did see is flash across the top of our screen inside Riverside that recording is of higher quality than what you see. And I'm thinking, it can't possibly be because it's recording us. How can it be higher quality?
Yeah, right. That's like when they say recorded in front of a live studio audience. Well,
yeah.
I mean, what other kind of audience is there? Yeah, you're right. That's a good point.
We mostly look, kind of look for the bottom of the barrel in terms of quality.
Yeah, right. Oh, that's weird. So how are you? How are you doing this week?
Actually, it was a pretty good week. It was busy. Did a lot of work out in the garden because it was nice and I was home all weekend. But yeah, nothing to complain about too much. So
we had record-setting heat yesterday and today, 72 degrees both days, which is nice. But I'm sure, as you know, living, growing up in the Detroit area and me living in the Ohio area, of course, that means tomorrow our high is like 34.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go. Yesterday I wore shorts to work. Tomorrow I'm gonna have to bundle up, which is always fun. So
the only thing that would make that more Midwest is if you actually had an ice storm on top of it.
Yeah. Let's not put that out in the universe. Oof.
Yeah. We've been in the mid to high 80s here, so it's been really warm.
Nice. That's nice.
It's going to get cold here too for us at this time of year. We're going to drop down into the 40s, 30, maybe a little bit into the 30s at night, which is cold.
Ooh, we got 5 or 6 days of cold, and I was just watching my weather guy. There's a weather guy on the local NBC News here who does his own YouTube channel, and he has a show called Weather for Weather Geeks, and it's basically just an extended version of the weather that he does on the TV. It's just 7 to 12 minutes. I watch it. I've been watching it every night for over a year. I'm really a big fan of it. And he was just saying that it's going to get cold for the next 4 or 5 days, and after that he thinks winter's pretty much done. So
that'd be nice.
I feel good about that.
If we had one of those channels here, my wife would be all over that because my wife is a weather geek too.
So me too. I remember there were a couple times when I started my previous job, after my previous life in 2010, I started a real job and I was actually able to afford stuff. And I looked online to see if I could get like a however you say that, certificate at some college by taking some online courses. And there was a Penn State one that looked really interesting, except it was really, really expensive. Mm-hmm. But I would love to get some kind of a certificate, not a degree because it's way too much college, but just some kind of a certificate in meteorology because I love it. I love that stuff.
Yeah. And get yourself one of those little weather stations put out in the backyard.
I have one.
Oh, do you? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have one. Yeah.
Does it connect to your computer wirelessly so it records?
Oh no, but it does connect. I have a thing hanging over top of my computer that has all the display and everything on it.
Oh, okay.
But wirelessly, yeah. That's actually a recurring gift in the Evanoff extended family household. Of every couple of years, one of us buys one of the other ones, like one of those big fancy weather stations.
Oh, okay.
It's been like that for years. I don't know why. My dad's the same way. He likes the weather too. So that's probably where I get it. But. All right, so let me jump into my stats for last week in terms of the writing. It was a very strange week. I'm gonna talk about. Let's see, where do I have this in the outline? I should have it in the Monday section of the outline, but I'm gonna spoil it now. You've seen the TV shows, the cartoons that have the devil on one side and the angel on the other side, and they're basically the devil's trying to get you to do a bad thing, angel trying to. That's going to be a recurring theme in this podcast, and I'm just going to tell you right now, the devil won more than it lost. So just be ready for this. In terms of my stats, no new words. I didn't write anything new this week in terms of words. So I'm still sitting at 8,691 for the year. The goal is just a small amount of 45,000 because I'm going to be mostly editing this year, not really writing anything new, although I do want to write something new. So that's why I have a 45,000 word goal for the year. That's new words. Word count for book 2 though. So it's down. It was down. So I finished revision Y on Saturday. And when I finished revision Y, I went from 70,901 down to 66,037. So 66,037 is the number that I consider revision Y to be finished. Now, I really want to be in the 70s. I don't like being in 66s. I don't know why. I just want to be in the 70s. I feel like it's a 66 to me seems like a small book, whereas getting into the 70s and it feels like a big book, a novel.
Right.
So I don't know. It's weird being in the 66s, but that's where I'm at. Actually, I've been editing revision Z now since Saturday. I'm currently sitting at 66,689. So I'm up 652 from revision Y. I'd love to get up another, I don't know, 3,200, 3,400 words, but I don't think that's going to happen. But that is where I sit right now as we speak. Well, 689.
If nothing else, you'll make C happy about that. So
yeah, she's gonna love the fact that it's gonna be about a 200. What is 66,000? 67,000 would be about 275. 250. Oh no, you're probably right. Yeah. So it's fine. I think the previous book actually was less. I thought book one was 300 pages, but I believe it's in the 270s also. So maybe that's just what these novels are gonna be. So then my words per hour didn't change, obviously, because I didn't write anything new. It's still 1,275. The goal was to finish the draft Y, revision Y, which I did do. I was able to finish it on actually maybe Sunday. I don't remember which now. We'll see when we get to the weekly recap here. But and then the secondary goal was to be through chapter 15 in revision Z. And I'm happy to say that I also succeeded at that. Is where I'm currently sitting right now is I'm through chapter 16. So I beat it by 1. So we're in a good spot.
Well, as far as me, I was a total slap this last weekend. I did absolutely nothing in terms of writing. I did have a very intensive week of gardening, though, so that was fun. Like you said, the weather is pretty much warmed up here into almost summer, and we've been getting stuff into the garden. In fact, just early this morning before I went to work, I planted a bunch of potatoes. And and when I wasn't gardening, when I was at work, which wasn't, it was only 4 out of the last 7 days. I really couldn't do any editing or anything because I had to speed read the book for the book club, which is going to be tomorrow because I completely forgot about it. So luckily somebody had already read it because I knew it was checked out on Libby, but I went into Libby just to double check and somebody had checked it back in, so I was able to grab it. It's called Miss Benson's Beetle, which is interesting story of a girl. Well, it started as a girl. She becomes a woman who's chasing after the mythical golden beetle in Southeast Asia someplace. I can't remember. So yeah, no writing whatsoever for me.
Oh, actually, I'll talk about book club too later. So that's interesting. We both had book club. Mine was today. Yours is tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I also did the same thing as you. I crammed like I was looking for a project that was due when I was in high school, and I had to turn it on a Friday, and I crammed it basically Thursday and Friday morning.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I hate to admit this, but I even with what I've been trying to cram, I haven't been able to get much further than about halfway through. So tonight and tomorrow, I'm going to have to break down and read the first 2 or 3 paragraphs of the chapter and then the last 2 or 3 paragraphs and just move through the book that way.
Well, how many, is it a long book? How many pages is it?
No, not terribly long.
Good.
Actually, I never looked, but it's probably in the 250 range.
Oh, yeah. Okay, good. Okay.
Yeah, it's not huge.
All right, so going back to last week in terms of my weekly recap, I did the half day on Thursday last week because my coworker Brian needed Friday, so I did Thursday. And by half day nowadays, I'm actually only talking 3 hours. I'm not doing 4. I talked about this last week how fantastic it is. I can do 3-hour PTO, work 7 to 12, go to lunch and write, and that's what I'll be doing the rest of the year, which will give me more half a days to work with. It should actually get me the rest of the year starting, last week or maybe the week before that even, if I want to do that. So that works out really well. So I was starting the final 3 chapters on Thursday. This is chapters 25, 26, and 27. I went in and finished 25, and then I deleted chapter 26. It was only about 500 words, and I ended up not using them at all. So I just deleted it completely. Made it about halfway through chapter 27, which I then renamed to chapter 26. So really we're at 25 and 26 now, the last 2 chapters before I was there for a few hours and I headed out. They were having all kinds of audio problems. So you got this really loud static over the microphone because it was raining. And DirecTV kept going out. Their music kept going out. So I wasn't there as long as I would have been normally, but it was kind of annoying sitting there with that noise. Also, I walked in, it was a Thursday and there was somebody sitting at my table. And I know the bartender who knows me, she walks over and I'm like, what are you doing? You're letting people sit at my table even on days when I'm not going to be here? and I said, I don't like that. And she goes, well, do you want to sit behind her? I'm like, yeah. So I sat right at the table right behind her. Came home and played my football game a little bit. I was playing a 2012 NFL game between Houston Texans and Peyton Manning's Denver Broncos. So naturally, it was high scoring. It was a lot of fun to play. I think the final score was like 48-19 or something like that. Denver ended up winning. That was a fun one.
It's been that long ago that he played for the Denver Broncos.
Yeah,
wow.
2012, 2013, right in there. Maybe in his last year, might have been 13 or 14, right in there. Yeah.
Wow. It's more than a decade.
Yeah, well, wait till I get into the one I played. I don't know if it'll matter to you as much, but I started another one. So Friday, I'm in the office on this day. I'm not only am I working a full day, but I'm in the office a full day. And the reason I went into the office instead of taking the work from home day is because our help desk person, she had to do something specific with my laptop. I had to be in person. So it took about 45 minutes and I had it scheduled for 10 o'clock. And I asked her, I said, you're going to have my laptop. And right? She said, yeah. I'm like, I can't work. She said, no. And I'm like, great. And I took my personal computer to the cubicle next to mine while she was sitting on my laptop. And I ended up working on chapter 25 and chapter 26. Worked out well.
Perfect.
I really had both chapters like from start to finish, just like you just said. You could read the first three paragraphs and read the last three paragraphs because it was there. I just didn't have like stuff in the middle that I just skipped over. So I kind of had to go back and just fill in the blanks. I did not get finished. At lunch, I did the same thing. I spent some more time on that final chapter, 26. Again, by the time I was done, still not done. It's just filling in blanks, making sure everything works out correctly. And but that was pretty much the book. That was my Friday. Left work around 4, and I did not do much of anything in the evening. I can't even remember if I played the game or not. And then I went to bed like super early. I was so tired. Getting up on a Friday morning at 5 a.m. is just, I don't know if it just shocked my body or what, but I was so tired at 9:15. I went to bed.
That one was so dark.
Oh, I forgot about this. So then Saturday, I'm glad I went to bed at 9:15 because I woke up around 2 a.m., walked out of my bedroom and noticed across the street how dark it was and thought, wow, that's weird. They lost power. The library lost power. The people past them lost power. We still had power. That's rare. My power grid is much like Texas's power grid nowadays, where, if somebody coughs, the power in this town goes down. But luckily at that point, I had power. I was very happy that I had power. So I went back to bed, woke up around 4:30 because now my power was out, which seems about right. So I got up, came downstairs. I sat on the couch for a while, went back to bed. 5:30, the power came back on. I came back downstairs. And by the time I got to the back door, the power went out again. Which freaks out my dog every time it happens. So I went back to bed again, slept till 6:45, came downstairs, still no power. Then at 7:15, it flashed on and then off. And I just was like, whatever, I'm getting ready to leave anyway. Got in the shower. And while I was in the shower, the power came back on around 7:45 for good. But it made me think of like how, as a computer programmer, like I test stuff in production. I was thinking the people that are trying to fix it are like, okay, let's make this change, turn it on and see what happens.
Yes,
nope, didn't work. Turn it back off. That's just kind of how I feel they were doing all night.
Make this change to see if we fry anything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I went to Chick-fil-A and I was able to finish revision Y pretty quick again. 66037 was the word count. And we had a pretty big storm coming through on that day. So I left a little bit early to start working on revision Z at home. And that wouldn't be, it's not a big deal because I have Word reading to me. Word is reading to me. I listen to it. I make changes as I think that they need to be made, whether it's forgetting words, which I do all the time, grammar. If I want to, make a paragraph a little longer, a little shorter, I do that. So that's my last revision. I kind of piddled around a little bit once I got home, not doing much of anything. And then I sat down and did the first 4 chapters, the first 10,620 words, again, having Word read them out loud. So then I have Word read it out loud. I'd make all the changes. I'd run it through Grammarly, update my Word doc. So I'm not even using Scrivener. Once it comes out of Scrivener into my Word doc so that I can have Word read it to me, where the Word doc is now my current final copy. And that's what I'll send off to C. So all the changes I make now are in the Word doc.
Have you noticed in your Grammarly there being an AI component where you can have an expert, as in a named author, write for you or review your stuff? And it got pulled because their Grammarly was getting in trouble because of it.
I know in Grammarly, something that made me laugh when I first started doing this was there's 3 tabs out to the right. The first tab is just check all your grammar, all that good stuff. The second tab is have AI write for you. And the third tab is check to see if AI has written for you.
Okay.
The third tab is actually plagiarism and AI. So you can click that, which is, I've been doing this so what I do is I put it into Grammarly. I fix all the bugs, update my Word doc, and then I go to that last tab and I click plagiarism and AI. Then it'll scan your text and see Does it see any plagiarism? And does it see anything that matches like an AI pattern of writing?
Right.
Through the chapter, I think I said I've done 16 chapters so far. Through the 16 I've had no matches to AI, but I've had some plagiarism matches. And one of the ones that I had was he raised his hand.
Yeah.
And that got flagged for plagiarism. Like, oh, I'm a dirty copier for taking, he raised his hand.
Right.
I had a couple of those very simple ones. I forget what the one that came up today was, but I think it was like he pressed down on the accelerator or something like that.
Yeah.
And so it's very silly.
They are very, if anybody's worried that, AIs actually do real thinking, there's an example where obviously not.
Terrible. But I did love the fact that, like I said, there's a middle tab that says have AI write for you, and a third tab that says, hey, check to see if AI wrote for you. I just find that humorous. So
I could not resist the urge to have it write something for me and then run it through the AI checker and see if it
see if it caught, even think of that. That's funny.
Yeah.
So then so the last thing I'm doing after I check the plagiarism and the AI thing, I'll take that Word document chapter, I'll copy it into Atticus. And even though I know I'm still going to send the Word doc off to C, and she's going to send it back to me with lots and lots of grammar changes, and I'm the worst when it comes to commas. And I'll have to update Atticus. That's okay. I'm putting it in Atticus so that I can get a really good word count of the entire book, because on Sunday when I send it to her, I'm also going to get my paperback cover requested. So I want to have a pretty good word count in terms of how many I need to give them. So that's the last thing I'm doing.
Especially,
page count, not word count. Sorry, page count. Yeah. So I did the first 4 chapters on Saturday. That big storm that came through never hit us. It was south of us and north of us. We kind of got lucky there, which was nice. What else did I do? That's pretty much all I did that day, apparently. Sunday, I woke. So Sunday is we're turning our clocks back on Saturday night. So you wake up Sunday. They say, people always say, I'm going to lose an hour's sleep. And I'm like, well, you're only really going to lose an hour's sleep if you have an alarm that you're getting up to. I didn't lose. I woke up at 7:45, but I would have been 6:45. I didn't lose an hour's sleep. I slept the same amount I normally would have.
Right.
And I felt jet lagged, which is something that never happens to me in this time. And I couldn't believe how crappy I felt. It was amazing.
It's like psychological.
I don't know what. Yeah. So, and I don't like I'm actually a fan of daylight savings and turn the clocks forward and back. I actually like it because I like what it does with daylight. But I feel like we did it too early this year. I don't like the 7:45 sunrise that we're getting right now.
It did seem to come a little bit earlier than normal. But actually, I was telling my wife that we need to move to British Columbia because British Columbia went on daylight savings time and they've decided to stay there for
I don't want eternity. That. I don't think I want that though. I don't think I want like when you turn it back in like November, that helps you in the morning, and when you turn it back in March, it helps you in the evening, and that's kind of goes along with our seasons. Maybe if I lived in a place where the seasons didn't change as drastically as they do here, but that kind of helps you with the seasons. It feels like. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I morning darkness does not bother me.
I don't like
night, late afternoon coming home in the dark bothers me.
I don't like that either. There's a period of time in like January where I'm driving to work in the dark and driving home in the dark, and I just can't stand it. But then there'll be a time in May when I'm driving to work all daylight and driving home in all daylight. I love that moment right there. So, so I hung around the house until about 10:30 on Sunday. Then I went to Five Guys. I hadn't been there in a while, so I ended up going to Five Guys. And my laptop was really, really struggling to read to me out loud. I started chapter 7 and I could not finish it because anytime I would make a change, I'd have to like save the document, close it, restart my computer, reopen the document just so it would start reading again. And my desktop computers had no problems through most of these chapters, but that one chapter that day, it would not. I don't know if I was making super major changes or what, but it just would not read to me. So I came home.
Bizarre. That's almost like a memory problem or something.
I think that could be what it is. Yeah. Because I think that the reading reads ahead because it knows. It does a pretty good job with like you'd never want it as a narrator for your book, but it does a pretty good job with like inflections in the voices. Mm-hmm. So it's got to be reading ahead to know these things. I would assume even a couple words at least. Right. But
of course, on the other hand, if it, you know what? Some of those programs, they actually connect back to a server someplace where it's actually being interpreted back on a server and not on local on your machine. Okay, and that's probably the slowdown was probably there.
Could be, yeah. It was rough. So I ended up leaving. I didn't finish one chapter. I was chapter 7. I started it, didn't finish it, and just came home. Played my football game. Played some more of that Denver-Houston game. and then sat down at my computer and finished chapter 7. And I went all the way through chapter 12. So I did about 6 chapters, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 5.5 chapters on that from home, which was nice. It was nice to get that far with it.
I have to interject here something so I don't forget it, because it's a great story. You'll, being in computers, will really appreciate this. Our main server farm for all the library branches is at the main library. So when all the personal computer, all the patron computers and everything, and our work computers, they all connect back there in order to do anything. And somebody, they don't know who, or they actually haven't fingered them, decided it would be a good idea to let the janitors into the server room so they could have someplace to go sit and have lunch. And what the janitors did right off the bat is they went in there and they started unplugging things so they could plug in their phones.
Oh no!
Yeah, it was as you can imagine, it was a disaster.
Yeah, I'm guessing a whole bunch of things were taken down by unplugging a few things. So yeah, that's kind of funny.
Number one, I can't imagine who would let them in there to do that, to eat in the server room. But number two, that they would just go randomly start unplugging things.
That's usually like a secured room. Like you got to have a key or have a, wow.
Yeah, somebody had to let them in.
So I guess at my old job, we had a server room that was pretty big where there was a couple desks in there. So we wouldn't let anybody outside of IT into it. But I guess I would go back there sometimes and just sit and eat, but I knew not to unplug things. So yeah. So, so then on Monday, I did work from home on Monday, and at lunch, I started chapter 13, which is right around my midpoint. It's a long chapter. I was able to make it about halfway, but then I ran out of time. So in the evening, all I could think all day was in the evening. I mean, I did 5.5 chapters yesterday. I'm doing 5.5 tonight. I'm getting a long way in this book. And then right about the time I closed my laptop from work, I started thinking about my football game. And this is the angel and the devil. And the angel was saying, keep editing. You got to turn it in by Sunday. And the devil was saying, yeah, but you want to play a game from 2012 between the Browns, who stink, and the Steelers, who were just 8-8. They weren't even that good either. And the devil won, and I ended up playing Browns Steelers. I played most of the first half. And Steelers are winning 10-6 right now with about 5 minutes to go in the second quarter. Haven't played it since then. It's actually sitting down here in front of me. So you got some pretty terrible players. Where's my camera? Right here. You got some pretty terrible players, but there's Pittsburgh's quarterback Ben Roethlisberger, and you got some other players here. 3 players in this game I went to college with, not at the same time, but
Roethlisberger, not a terrible player, but a terrible person.
Yeah, not a great guy. Don't look up his history. I ended up doing that.
It was funny you said that the Steelers were 8-8 at the time of this game, and automatically I knew that it was a part of the Mike Tomlin era.
It absolutely was. In fact, they beat the Browns on the last week of the season to not finish 7-9 because that guy never finished below 500. So I played it for a while too. I played it probably for an hour and a half. I didn't get done until about 8:15. So there was no writing done in the evening, no editing at all. I feel guilty about that, which is wrong. I shouldn't feel guilty, but I literally feel guilty about that. But it's okay. Tuesday, I was in the office. This was yesterday. At lunch, I began working on chapter 13. Or I'm sorry, I went back to 13. And I tried to finish it, and then I did finish it. Then I started 14, and I got halfway through there. Wait, let me do that again. So then I finished 13. I started 14, but didn't get finished with it. I ran out of time. But then I came home last night, had some dinner. Then I finished 14 and 15. So I got through 15 as of yesterday. And then today I worked from home. We had our book club at lunch. I'll talk about that in a second. And then right after I logged out, I had some dinner, and I did one chapter. I did chapter 16, which is what got me to 16. There's 27 total chapters. So I have 11 left to do over the next basically 4 days, but really it's 2. And I'll talk about why when I get to my schedule next week. In terms of the book club, we read The Frozen River.
We're going to be reading that in a couple months. Yeah.
I can't wait to hear your opinion of it, because I'm going to tell you, I was in a room. It was me. Our book club today was, how many people? I think 6 people showed up. It's Ariel Lawhon.
Right.
I always thought it was Lawhorn, but I just realized it's Lawhon. And my opinion of that book was different from everybody else. And I believe it's because it's I think I have the male point of view, and the other 5 people in the room are all women, have the female point of view. They loved it. And I hated the first 300 pages. I thought it was awful. I hated the main character. I still don't particularly care for her. I didn't like the main character. But the last 100 pages, 125 were fantastic. Like, it moved fast. So if you go into that book, and we've kind of boiled it down to, if you go into that book expecting a mystery, you're gonna be let down, even though it's kind of labeled that way. It kind of the blurb kind of makes it feel that way. And the first 300 pages are like 25 pages of the mystery spread out, and then a whole bunch of stuff of what it was like to be a midwife in the late 1790s.
Oh, okay.
I don't have a whole lot of interest in that. That's not something I would have. To me, it was like a drama that she just kind of plugged the mystery into. But then I got to like the last 125 pages. It was fantastic. Like I didn't hate the character anymore. I liked they wrapped up a whole bunch of stories. I thought it was good. So like I went from like giving it a 1 star to maybe like 3.75, maybe even 4, just because the ending was really good. I just couldn't stand the main character. Everybody else, when I said I can't stand the main character, they were like, really? And I'm like, yeah, all she does is complain. She hates everybody. She's not a nice person, even though I think she thinks she's a really good person. So I was just really annoyed with it.
Whenever I run across a book like that, I always think, okay, here's a story idea. It really should have been a novella, but this person had a word count that they had to hit. So they set up the mystery early on, maybe, and then they do a lot of filling, usually characterization and interpersonal stuff. And then the last, quarter of the book or whatever, they really speed up and get the mystery done.
413 pages.
Yeah.
Should have been 275. No, I say, you know what? I say that, but maybe if the majority of the people like it, and that's just me, then she did the right thing. She wrote it for, maybe I'm just not the reader. I'm not the right reader for her. That's all it is.
Right. Yeah.
I read it for book club. That's all.
Yeah.
So
I'll read it and see what it's like.
I'll be curious to hear what you think of it. I'm not going to spoil anything because there are some pretty interesting things that happen there at the end that we talked about in depth. That I never thought we'd talk about at work. So I'll leave it at that.
It sounds like it's going to be quite of a jarring book for me to drop into when we do read it, because I believe the book we read right before that is a Dean Koontz book.
Okay. That's the book that we're reading after it is one that I think I got from you, which is a Raymond Chandler. Raymond Chandler, is that his name?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Long Good Night, I think it's called. So we're going into like 50s noir.
Yeah. Long Goodbye.
Long Goodbye. Where I thought the Frozen River was a little bit anti-man. I thought there was a lot of men are horrible. I told the women in the book club, I'm like, halfway through this book, I just thought I was a terrible person. and I also told them, I'm like, listen, I'm naive. Like, I'm very naive. Like, when I hear stuff like women couldn't do this during this time, all I can think is, really? Like, it was like I believe them, but it just shocks me to hear that like a woman had to, if she got pregnant without being married, she had to go to court, announce who the father was, or pay a fine. And that's like, really? That's what it was like. So I'm super naive when it comes to that too. But I just so now we're going to go into this noir Raymond Chandler, 50s or 40s, whatever it is, like noir style. That's probably going to be a little bit not exactly nice to women, I'm guessing.
I thought you read that already.
I have not read it. We talked about it a bunch, but I haven't read it yet. I put it on the list when we talked about it, and they picked it, which was nice.
Really?
You found a whole bunch of old ones. That's what it was. You found them in the. You were going through the back closet or whatever. That's what it was.
Right. Well, in a lot of those old hard-boiled crime novels of the 40s and 50s, and that, they were famous for their femme fatales, and the women were actually villains, so they were they weren't really, they weren't subjugated, like you're talking about. They were actually actively evil in a lot of cases.
Oh, okay. So maybe I'm wrong about what it's going to be, because again, I only know the stereotypical, she walked in the room, her legs went all the way to the floor, that kind of thing. The dame, that kind of thing. So we'll see what it's like. I'm actually excited to read it. I couldn't believe I finished this one, but I was reading it and I was like, I'm going to run out of time. So I actually subscribed to Audible, downloaded the audiobook, and was able to listen to it just while I was doing different things, working and some other things throughout the last couple of days. So yeah. I
probably should have done that with Miss Benson's Beetle, but I didn't.
Yeah. So let's see. Today I worked from home. We had the book club. That's the first time we've ever talked about a book throughout the entire hour. Usually about 35 minutes in, we kind of peter off and talk about the next book, but we actually went long on this one, which it's because they all really liked it, and I really liked the ending. But
and plus, the more people you get in the room, 6 is pretty good. It's a pretty good number. We've been having anywhere from 10 to like 14.
Wow!
At ours. When you get that many people, everybody's got an opinion. So it lasts, which is good.
Yeah. We're between like 4 and 9, basically. This is about 6 months of it so far. It's new, and we're about 6 months in so far. So
right.
All right, so that was my week. I mean, I feel like I got a pretty good week in terms of getting to revision Z and getting over halfway done. And I'll talk about the next 4 days when I get to my schedule and what I hope to accomplish. So,
Okay.
yeah.
My week, like I said earlier, is just, I was a slap. I didn't get anything done really in terms of writing. Last Thursday, I was at the library. And we've been quite busy. Now that the weather's warmed up down here and it's consistently sunny out, unless it's dumping 11 inches of rain, which it did over the weekend. And there's no time to really do anything writing related. I mean, the small periods that I do have to myself, like during lunch and that, I'm just so exhausted after talking to people that I just either put my headphones on and just waste some time doing YouTube, or I go out in the truck and I fall asleep. So,
wow, at lunch you can do that at lunch. You can just go fall asleep and then wake up. I'd be afraid I'd sleep past when I was supposed to go.
No, I set an alarm. I set my phone alarm, and I don't worry about it. Really, I think I've told you this before. The way the library is run, you could nobody would know if you were gone for a couple hours at lunch, because they would just assume that you were off doing something. So, nobody watches. Friday through Sunday, I was home those days, and it was all gardening all the time during daylight hours. And, after all the digging and planting and everything else I was doing, there's just like no energy left at the end of the day, or motivation really to do anything. But, sit, eat, watch a movie, and then maybe do a little puzzle. Although we haven't really been puzzling all that much recently. Monday through today, again, it's been just crazy at the library. And even when it wasn't, I had to focus, like I said, on reading Miss Benson's Beetle for our group meeting tomorrow evening. Unfortunately, tomorrow I'll be there at the library from 9 in the morning till 9 at night. Because I've got the book club meeting from 6 to 7:30, which is outside my normal hours. And then my wife is going to be there for an Orchid Society meeting. And I've got to wait for her to get done with that because she can't really drive in the dark. So she can drive there for the meeting to start, but she's going to have to come home with me. We're going to have to leave her car there and then she'll have to come in on, what would that be? Friday, I guess, to pick it up. Hopefully I'll get this book finished, the Benson's Beetle, by the meeting tomorrow, even if I have to do that weird thing, read the beginning and read the end of the chapter. And I should be able to bluff my way through it. Yeah. A lot of times chapters are like that. If you don't know what the chapter setup is and you know what the payoff is at the end, you could guess what was in between. Yeah, to a large extent. So my goal, I actually did have, excuse me, the pollen in the air is just really getting to me. The goal I had for the week, I think, was like 3 chapters of editing, and I did absolutely none. So it was a total fail as far as I'm concerned. And I don't have anything I added to my running list of future things to do. I still haven't posted my first note or essay on Substack. I did go in there and kind of fill out my profile a little bit, get a picture up, did my little blurb thing and stuff, but I haven't really proceeded beyond that.
My running list of future things to do is the same, although I did add one thing just now, but really the big thing on there is just getting ready for the April release, which is a whole bunch of small things. Get my paperback cover for book 2, get my ebook cover for book 3 so I can do a pre-order. On the same day that I released book 2, I can do a pre-order. I think November 10th for book 3 is what I'm going to do. Set up my Etsy, book 1, book 1.5, all that stuff. But I did add in there, I was listening to, I think it was James Blatch and that podcast last Thursday, the Indie Writers, no, it's not Indie Writers Club. What is it? Self-Publishing Show's back, right?
Self-Publishing Show,
yeah. So I was listening to them, and I think, and you might know this, I don't know, but I think James Blatch said that if you have an ebook in Kindle Unlimited, you can still put it into libraries.
Yes.
Is that true?
Yes. Well, he said that. I don't know. I think that's true. You can't have it for sale anywhere. But right. I believe they still allow it. Well, I can't say for sure. I mean,
can you say for sure that he said it?
Yes, he did say it.
Okay, because that's what I thought. I thought I heard it. I wasn't sure if I heard him correctly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look into this. And if this is the case, I'm going to go back to my Drafted Digital where I have book 1 paperback everywhere. And I'm going to put my ebook into the library ones. I think he even said if you log into Drafted Digital, there's like a separate library section in there where you might be able to select one thing and it just does all of them. So I got to look into this. I might even look into it while we're on this podcast.
And I think that the rationale, if you're looking for some logic here, it is that libraries will not buy from Amazon. Because Amazon is not a traditional book distributor, and they won't take books from there.
So you're not taking business away from them.
Right.
Well, I guess if you get in a library, you could be. People could use Libby to pull it down instead of going to Amazon and buying it.
Yeah, it's possible.
So yeah, I'm definitely gonna look into this because I want I don't know what that is. I want my books to be in the library, especially the library that I live next to here.
Right.
I'm trying to.
He also said, I don't know if you picked up on this, is that you need to, when you're putting your books on a library distribution site or whatever, like Ingram or whatever, you need to jack up the price because libraries are price insensitive to buying books.
What does that mean? Oh, that means they'll just pay whatever.
They'll pay whatever. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll definitely look into that. In fact, I can't really look into it here because then I got to set up the whole ebook process and I don't have that in there. But yeah. I definitely will look into this because I'm really interested in doing that. I'd love to get it into libraries. In fact, I'm on there frequently asked questions. If I search library, what do I get? Ebook. I should look up. Oh, here. I should look up Kindle Unlimited or KU.
So you're in Drafted Digital right now, or?
Yeah. There's no Kindle Unlimited when I search the frequently asked questions. So I'll do it later. But I was curious if that's the case. It's something I added to my running list of future things to do, so I can get those books into that part of it also. So. And then let's see. In terms of my addicted to, I kept Suzy Q's on there because I think I bought 2 more boxes of them in the last 7 days, and they're all gone. they're gone. They're fantastic.
I almost sent you a video from Apocalypse Now where they got the USO show and the helicopters come in and drop the scantily clad women to dance on stage for soldiers, and the background music for that is Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Suzy Q.
Yeah,
that's funny. Yeah, that's funny.
My addicted to, I don't really have an addicted to, but I'm telling you, our new deputy who provides security in the evenings, he's trying to kill us. Last week he brought in 4 or 5 big, huge, large pizzas, which I continued to eat throughout the week after he brought them in on a Tuesday, because nobody else, they went into the refrigerator after everybody eaten them on Tuesday, and they just didn't want cold pizza and they didn't want to heat it up, so I just ate it throughout the week. Yesterday, he brought in a huge foil tray of fried chicken wings and potato wedges.
What's he shaking down a pizza shop? That's...
Well, I know the chicken came from a place that we have called Triplets Blue. What is it? Triplets Blue Store Chicken. Yeah, it's just kind of a local institution. And he, I don't know. He might be, this may be stuff he's getting from them just because he's a cop. He gets a big discount. Who knows? Anyways, not an addiction, but it's worth mentioning because I did eat chicken wings for the last couple of days.
Chicken wings are so good.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. Let's see. In terms of my week coming up, we're gonna get back into this angel and devil theme here as we go. Tomorrow is gonna be freezing cold. It's gonna be like 60. It was actually 72 today. It's gonna be like 35 tomorrow. The angel and devil have been sitting on my shoulders for a week now, probably since Sunday, actually, saying, don't go in, just go in once this week. And the angels say, no, be an adult, go twice, you jerk. And the devil won. Oh no, the angel actually won this one. The angel won this one. So we're 1-1 now. The angels won one, the devil won with me playing my football game last Monday. There's still one more to come. And but I am going in tomorrow, and my lunch is gonna be short. It's gonna be a normal hour, nothing longer, because I have my writers club tomorrow night, and I kind of want to skip it to keep doing the revision Z. Mm-hmm. And I haven't even decided what chapter I'm going to read yet from the first 16 because they're already done. I can just copy one in there. I got to find one where I'm like, give me a certain kind of thing that happens where I might want their advice on, did I do a job? I don't want to just pay anything, just pick one at random. I actually want to look through them and see where do I think I might be struggling with the writing, and I'll put it into the Google Doc, and I'll, get in line to read it tomorrow. But so I'm going to go, but tomorrow will be a great day not to go, so I can continue the editing. So I'll have a short lunch, and then I'll have my writers club in the evening. So Friday I'm working from home. It's a half a day. I'll stop at noon, head out to continue revision Z editing. And this is going to be a Buffalo Wild Wings day. And it'll probably be one of those days where I quit editing. I'll do like maybe 2 or 3 chapters, and then I'll come home. I'll probably play my football game here. And then in the evening, I might just do another couple of chapters just because I can. It's easy. Sit at my desk up front by my TV. The dog's there. It's really easy to do. So I might do that also. I'd like to get 5 chapters done. on Friday. That's kind of what I'm shooting for. And then Saturday, I will head to Chick-fil-A in the morning and keep that editing going. And I really want to get done by Saturday night with this edit. And the reason behind that is because Sunday, I want to go through the entire thing. I want to look at chapter endings. I might want to break up certain things into separate chapters. You know, right now it's going to be 26 chapters, but I have a lot of chapters that have the 3 asterisks where I could maybe break that into a new chapter. I really just want to go through it on Sunday and just make sure I'm happy with everything. Do I want to expand any parts? You know, I want to look. So I took the last 3 chapters, or now it's the last 2, put it into the Google LM. What's it called? The notebook. What's it called?
Gemini.
No.
That's a Google one.
No, it's the app. It's the specific app. NotebookLM. That's it.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That's not. Yeah. All right. That's something different, though.
Yeah. Uploaded all 3 of them into there. And I just said, can you give me every single thing that my main character reveals during this climax, during this denouement, that I have to make sure that I include earlier in the book. You know, Sam shows these documents. Well, I need to make sure that earlier in the book, I have him getting the documents, you know, things like that.
Right.
And it gave me a pretty long list. So I want to take that and just go through and make sure I have each one of those spelled out in the book correctly. I just want to use Sunday as like a review day.
Okay.
And then at the end of the day, that's when I'll send it off to C. And then I'll be, you know, it'll be a giant weight off my shoulder. Monday. So I'm probably gonna be in the office on Monday. And I'll pull out book 1.5. This is my little novella that I need to also get done at the same time. Book 2 is rewritten, or is ready to be sold, ready to go on sale. Get it organized. It's only 8 chapters. Figure out, it's 12,000 words. Figure out where I am in the editing. I'm about halfway through it. And then I should be able to get through it pretty quick, but I do want to, you know, keep in mind a lot of the things that I've kind of learned from C over the last couple of months in terms of why book 2 needed a lot of work. And I want to make sure I'm doing those things in this book 1.5. I really think she gave me a really interesting lesson on plotting and writing over the last couple of months that I did not get the first time, because maybe I just didn't need it. I'm not sure. But this time I really did need to make sure I understand the murderer's motives and the characters' backstories. You don't have to, it's like the iceberg. You don't really show much of it, but you know it so that it makes writing those characters easier and more realistic. So
right.
I'll have to apply that to book 1.5, and then I'll start the editing on book 1.5. Tuesday is my last Angel versus Devil moment. The Devil won this one. I have a dentist appointment. Well, let me just rephrase that. I had a dentist appointment on Tuesday morning. I have a couple of teeth that are broken kind of back here in the back. There's little broken ones, and you know, there's no pain. They don't bother me. I don't care. I scheduled to get him to get him fixed, and then I don't like the dentist. I have a friend of mine. She does not like to go into Chick-fil-A and order food. She doesn't like to stand in that line. She feels pressured. I don't like to go to the dentist. It's a mental thing. It's silly. The devil's yelling, yeah, cancel it. And the angel's yelling, no, you're supposed to be an adult. Stop being a child and go. And yet in the end, the devil still won because it's really easy to cancel. So it's a Tuesday. I will work a normal day. I may go in the office. We'll see. I have to do it twice next week. So it could be Monday, Tuesday, and just get it over with, or it could be Monday, Wednesday, Monday, Thursday. We'll see. And then, so Wednesday, I have still dentist stuff in here in the outline that I'm not going to talk about now. It was supposed to be a joke, but it didn't work out. Okay. And I'll just keep going on 1 point. Regardless of whether I'm in the office Tuesday or Wednesday, I'll keep working on 1.5 at lunch. And the goal, I mean, the obvious goal here is to finish revision C and get it sent off to the editor, because that's what I have to do by Sunday night. But I do have a mini goal that I would like to complete it by Saturday night, so that Sunday I can just use that entire day as a review day and just make sure all that stuff, I feel good about all that stuff before I send it off. So that'll be my schedule for next week.
Yeah. My wife broke a tooth during the week. When was that? It may have been Sunday. But she called the next day thinking she'd have to schedule an appointment to get it fixed. And they said, well, you can come in an hour. She does not like the dentist.
Yeah.
But she went. She was the adult.
She was the adult. See, I wasn't the adult. Yeah.
This coming week for me, as opposed to the last week where I only worked 4 out of the 7 days, this coming week, I'll be working 6 out of the 7 days. So it's going to be very busy. Thursday, I'll be at the library, and I'm teaching tomorrow an introductory course on using AI, where I'm not only going to go over the basics about what it is and how they work and stuff, but I also did a little comparison of 6 different models. And Gave
Wow.
each of those models the exact same prompt, which was explain quantum mechanics to a 10-year-old.
Okay.
Keep your answers short. It was really interesting. The results I got. Claude, of course, beats everyone in terms of the writing. Claude wrote it wasn't long because I told him to keep it short, but it was very much along the lines of it was kind of very literary. It wasn't just short and to the point. So he beats everything for the writing. All the other ones like ChatGPT and Meta AI, and I can't even remember what the other ones were right now. I used, they were not very good at all. A couple of sentences, very simple. They obviously thought that a 10-year-old knew very little about anything. Because it was all referenced. They tried to make a reference to Lego blocks and tried to explain it that way. But there were a couple that did really good in terms of digging out research and putting it basically a more of a research slant on it. One of them was Google Gemini, which was really good. In fact, it actually, my impression of that is of the answer it gave is that it overestimated how much a 10-year-old might know, but it actually dropped diagrams in and things. But the one that did the best, I think, was Perplexity. I don't know if you've ever used Perplexity.
I haven't.
That's the one that Joanna Penn uses for doing her research. And Perplexity gave a very straightforward, simple answer, but then gave 10 sources that I had referenced from the web and the links to them, and then gave a set of other questions that you might want to ask me about quantum mechanics, and I can go into more detail. So it was really good. And I thought the next time I need to look something up for something I'm writing or a chapter, I'm going to use Perplexity and see, if nothing else, it can give me a straightforward answer and give me some references to what I want, but to see what it generates in terms of other questions I might want to ask about this topic, which I thought was really interesting.
I just wrote into ChatGPT, explain quantum mechanics to a 10-year-old, but a 10-year-old who was 10 years old in 1984, keep it short. So it basically compared things to like video game characters that's a dot and a blur, or a TV channel that is static until the picture snaps in when you tune it in. So
right.
It's nice.
Friday through Sunday, I'll be at the library each of those days. But other than the public service aspect of the job, I've got no real tasks scheduled. I should be able to find time to edit. It's just going to be forcing myself to do it and having the motivation. Monday, I've got the day off. And if the weather's nice, I've got a flat of lettuce that's getting ready to be planted outside. I planted from seeds. It's got 72 lettuce plants in it. So that'll take a little bit of time to plant. And I've got another flat that's got 72 plants of kale in it. And I've got another flat that's got 72 mixed things. I got tomatoes and cucumbers and stuff like that. Some of that's probably not quite ready to go out, and I won't put it out. But if the weather's nice, I'm going to be doing something. And if nothing else, I'm confident that Tammy will find other tasks for me to do.
Sure. Confident or hopeful or not hopeful?
Well, I'm just confident.
Yeah, confident. Okay.
Yeah. Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, I'll be back at the library doing library things. And trying to sneak off to edit when I can. I'm going to set a really low bar in terms of a goal for this coming week, and just say, let's see if I can get at least one chapter edited. That would be really nice to actually do something. In terms of stuff to share, it's nothing really important. I've been listening to the Smarter Artist podcast with Johnny, Shawnee, Dave. It could be Shawnee.
John, and Dave.
Yeah. It's interesting to listen to the war stories that they tell about the time off that they had between their last podcast and starting this one. I find it interesting to hear them, to listen to them talk now, because they very much have matured over the time period they've been gone. Even to the point where Dave is not quite as cynical and quite as
okay. I just always thought of him as trapped down in the basement in the dark.
Yeah,
that's kind of how he's thought of him.
Negative. He's still negative, but not that negative. Okay. In fact, he is the podcast host this time around. So
really,
yeah.
Wow.
So if you haven't listened to it, listen to it. On the very last episode that they had posted, and I can't remember if it was 7 or 8, somebody did a rap outro for them. It was a long outro. It was like 3.5 minutes or something.
Oh,
it
a full
was
song.
It was really good. Really good. Yeah.
Nice. I have to maybe I could put something together myself, a little rap music.
Yeah.
Maybe I can spit some bars for everyone, something like that. Yeah. In my stuff to share, actually, this isn't writing related. This is just something that I find funny. I was at home Saturday. This is when I just got home from writing from Chick-fil-A. And, it's rare that I say that the name of my hometown on this podcast, just because I have this illusion that no one knows where I live, even though you can easily Google it and find out. So I live in this little city called Newton Falls, and we're famous for our zip code. It's 44444, and that will come up here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that'll come up here in a minute too. So I was walking in the house, and I would notice across the street, I live, so let me just narrow it down even more. I live across the street from the library, and there was two guys, kind of an older, actually kind of be like me and you, an older guy who was kind of skinny, and a younger guy who was kind of big, who's much bigger than I was. And they were just kind of walking around the library. They were looking at the mulch, and they were looking down at the little sculptures of the boys or whatever. They're in the mulch, and then they're opening up the book return, and they're looking in there. And I'm like, what is going on? And I watch a lot of true crime. I write murder mysteries. I just imagine they're casing my house, and they're going to murder me in my sleep. That's just where my brain is. So I'm just watching them, and then I watch them get in the car, and I'm like, I got to get that make and model just in case it comes back later. And then they go away, and then I forget about it. 5 hours later, I'm going to go to my mom and dad's to pick up my dog. And there's a red pickup truck that has a cap on it. It's a big old school pickup truck. And there's a guy walking around, and he's got his phone, and he's got it kind of like this. He's kind of trying to look nonchalant. He's looking over. So he looks so unnonchalant that he's up to something. And I'm just like, what is happening? And he just kind of does this. And if you're on YouTube, you can see me. He just kind of like, I don't know, points his phone down at the same statue the other guys were looking at, and just takes a picture and then just walks back to his truck and drives away. And I'm just like, what is happening? And then it hit me, and you probably don't know anything about this, but my little town announced many months ago that they are going to do a treasure hunt. And there's one prize. I think there's one prize, and it's up to like 30 grand in prizes and money and jewelry and stuff that's in this. I think it's I haven't read all the rules, but I think it's like a chest that you're looking for the key. This is like Ready Player One in real life. There's a key that you're looking for, I think. There's clues that come out every 2 weeks. If you just Google Newton Falls treasure hunt, you'll see everything. Yeah. But the first clue came out. I'm going to read. So I did and I didn't care about it until I realized what was going on. And then Saturday night, I did what anybody should do. I went to ChatGPT. I typed the clue in. Actually, I copied and pasted it. I'm just going to read you the beginning of the clue because it's really long, but this is kind of what it sounds like. Where iron greets the traveler before wood ever does, comma, a winter listens longer than the river should, comma, a proclamation stands loud in form but quiet in truth, period. Speaking numbers that are given, not numbers you choose, ignore the boast that shouts from the highest place, for pride is never where accounts are traced. Instead, attend the ledger kept below, where work is named and order grows. Now, there's a whole bunch of stuff, right? That's literally 1/3 of it. Okay. So I went to ChatGPT and I'm like, can you just tell me what this means? I didn't tell anything about the treasure hunt, nothing. I just said, can you tell me what this means? ChatGPT said, I'm pulling this apart as a set of puzzle instructions, not as a poem meant to be read at face value. The strongest signal is that it seems to tell you where to look, what to ignore, what to count, and then what to do with the result. And then it says, yes, it reads like a scavenger hunt or puzzle hunt, which is exactly what it is. And then it went through each section and it gave its definition of it. And then it said at the very, it gave me a really long reply, and it says at the bottom, so the plain English version is probably find the right sign or display, ignore the big obvious number at the top. Keep that in mind. Use the numbered list entries below, treat them like records to reconcile, subtract rather than simply count or add, keep that result for later instead of submitting it now. Well, we have this giant sign as you come into Newton Falls that says Newton Falls has zip 44444, and then below it is a list of some of the businesses in Newton Falls. And it literally said, and it didn't know this yet. I didn't tell it this yet. It just said, find the right sign, ignore the big obvious number at the top, which the 4444 is. So I pasted a picture of the sign in chat and said, because it asked for more details. And I said, I don't know more details. That's all I know. But I pasted the sign in there and it said, yeah, this sign fits the clue better than anything. The cleanest read is blah, 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 blah. And then at the bottom, I wrote, that seems too easy. Like if something was hidden near that sign, people would find it. That just seems too easy. What else does it say? And it gave me more things. And then I said, can you do me a favor? Can you just research Newton Falls, Ohio, figure out what you can find, and then tell me where to go? And it did that. It said you need to go to one. We have a covered bridge. It's the second oldest covered bridge in Ohio. We have river overpasses or railroad overpasses, where the iron meets before the iron meets the wood. And like I just sat and talked to it for a while, and it just gave me, here's where I think you should go. The problem is we've gotten to this point now where it involves me like walking around the town. Right. I don't really want to do that.
Not going to happen. Yeah.
No. I was telling my coworker yesterday about it, and he's like, "You're not going to go walk for a possibility of $30,000?" And I go, "No, that seems too low." And he goes, "Well, what number would you have to hit?" And I went, "I could probably live on $2 million the rest of my life." And he goes, $2 million. So this other guy comes over, we're telling him, and he's like, "What's your number?" And he's like, $25. So yeah, I'm not, I need like I need to like clan up, as they said in Ready Player One. I need somebody who will actually go out and do the work, and I'll just be the brains behind it.
Right, right.
And what kills me is this is something that I absolutely love. It's solving puzzles. I love that, but yet I just don't want to go walking around. I have a dog. I can take him for a walk. I just don't want to walking around the city. So
that's fine. That's
fine. The big treasure hunt that's happening right now in my little town. It actually has people from like 20 to 25 states are here doing this.
I wonder how many people have thought of doing what you just did.
It's got to be some percentage greater than zero, I would think.
I would think so too.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's my fun story about the Newton Falls treasure hunt. If you're ever bored, just Google it. It's the whole thing's fun.
I think I will.
It's legit. The guy behind it's a local business guy who's just trying to draw more people into the city, and it's working. Right. But the problem is like you look out and you're like, why is that person just walking? Like, oh, I know what they're searching for treasure. Yeah.
The only thing, what crossed my mind is that other than the fact that, when you describe them, if they were younger and like more in the teens or early 20s, I would think they were on a Pokemon hunt.
Could have been too. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. So anyways, that's my story. And that is the podcast for this week. Do you have anything else?
No.
All right. So if you want to get in touch with me, you can email me, jerry@jerryevanoff.com. Feel free to tell me that I'm lazy or why does the devil keep winning? Apparently I was not a good adult this past 7 days, but that's kind of how I live my life. Website's jerryevanoff.com, facebook.com/jerryevanoffauthor. I'll put book 2's cover on there pretty soon. And then I'll probably do something with book 3 at the same time. So go there. And if you want to check it out, there you go.
Okay. My email address, if you want to talk to me, is rich@richkacy.com. You can find me on Blue Sky at Casey himself. And I'm also on Substack at Rich Kacy.
It's just Rich Kacy. Is it like substack.com/ or just is it richkacy.com?
I think if you just go at Rich Kacy, you'll find it.
Okay. Because I'll put a link to it then in the show notes. Yeah. So, and we're good for next Wednesday.
Yes.
All right, everyone. That is going to be it for this week, and we will talk to you all next week. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.
Yeah. Have a good week. Stay dry, everybody.
Yeah.